Welcome everybody. I'm finally off of work for the summer, so it's time to convert some of this land back here into a garden bed. I have a bunch of raised garden beds, about 3 of them that I'm going to use, and I'll flip the camera around so you can see kind of what the plan is. Alright, so here I'm going to move this out of the way. These cinder blocks will be moved, but that'll be kind of the orientation of this box. It has legs underneath here, so I'll actually pound this down into the ground and then probably add one more block so it's level-ish. But the idea is go inside, sharpen up my scythe, and then for this area right about to here, about half of this area, I'm just going to cut down the height. And then for everything that's not under a raised garden bed is going to be cardboard and wood chips. And under the garden beds themselves, I'm going to use a lot of this newspaper just to keep, most of the weeds down. And then I have some compost here. You can see it's roughly about 80 degrees, so a lot of it still topped with wood chips, but as you get deeper down, it's more soil based. So I'm going to see how all of this actually looks once I get it out of these bins and then into the beds. If I need to buy a few bags of garden soil, I will, but it'd be nice to have about this whole area at least cardboarded, mulched, and then a couple of raised beds in there if I need to make a couple of more. Just be nice to get some annual plants in. The idea is all this creeping Charlie. You can see a bee here, little bumblebee. I want to keep this edge of creeping Charlie. This stuff comes up so early in the year and it just sticks around for so long that. So this edge will match that edge. So here I'm back in the garage. I got my scythe behind me, if you can see. And it just has of course it was blunted. It was blunted from the factory. Like when they shipped it, it was blunted. So I'm just going to take a regular file to it. Just take a big chunk of metal out because there's still some ridges here. And then I'll just take the whetstone to it. And then of course it'll be that direction to sharpen. And then yeah, I'll try out my science skills and get that stuff knocked down. Then just use the cardboard to push all the grasses down, kind of contain it. That way there's a separation between, and you'll see there's actually, I want it to look more like a keynote garden, so there'll be an entryway that's further along the path where there's just a boulder there, but that'll be like a natural kind of entryway, and then from there it'll just be a semicircular kind of raised garden. And the raised garden beds I have are only like 10 by 4s, 2 by 10s, yeah, 2 by 10s. And they were actually in this garage on the floor. They were using them as platforms or something like that. But they've been outside for a couple of years, and I might as well make good use of them. Alright, so now I'll just keep you guys. I'm going to go sharpen this, and then I'll kind of give you a little video and see how the grass cutting's doing. I'm not very good at taking a video and then speeding up the time. So I'm not going to do any time-lapse videos or anything, but I'll keep enough recordings and pictures to kind of show you the progress. Alright, so now you can see it's a little scythe used. Kind of have to sharpen it somewhat often. It's cheap, I suppose. Dulls out. But no, it's working as fine as I guess I could expect. This is how much I've gotten done. And one of the reasons why I wanted to use the scythe instead of like a weed eater or something like that, I wanted to be able to collect all the grass And then I'm going to put it in, well, I'm going to expand my compost. So on this back edge here, they originally have a piece of plywood that goes across, but I'm going to put one more wooden skid, whatever, pallet right here, and then make a wall. So I'll just pile that up, and then I'll just screw a couple of more pallets into there to make a third bin. That just makes it so I can make more compost at one time. Because when these piles are big, there's no room, even though they're like too big, like they're still working. So, but as they die out, obviously they've dropped a couple of feet in size. So it's always nice to have more that you can always start a new one, or anything that's finished I can put over here, however you want to do it. But I'm going to keep going back and just finish this interior of it. Do some more raking, and we can move on to the next step. Alright, just taking a break here in the shade. The sign's gone pretty well, mostly just one or two swipes, whatever, but I have some tough grass or whatever it is, but they just mound up. Another thing, and I'll walk over there to show you, since I left, I didn't mow any of my grass except for just the pathways last year. So this year there's a whole mat of old grass that's basically acting as a mulch. So a lot of the areas I really could just, it's had mulch, so it's had cover from the sun, so the soil underneath is pretty good. It's just there's live grass on top, so I'm just gonna block that out so it can die over the next, what does it take, 3-4 weeks for the grass to die or whatever, and then a month later the cardboard will be broken down. But in most of the beds there'll be enough soil that I put in, either compost or soil I bought for the plants to be able to live this year. And I don't expect like huge results from these beds this year, but it's definitely going to be a soil building thing, so it'll always be mulched over with wood chips. And I've gotten pretty lucky with getting tons of arborist wood chips from that chip drop, so that's been a huge help. And then I had another tree that was trimmed down, and they just blew all those wood chips on there, and they said they would drop off loads of wood chips here as well. So it's kind of just working with people around you and asking people that are cutting down trees if you can have the wood chips. So I'll flip this around, I'll show you how matted the grass is, and then show you how much, even the small space that I've covered, how much grass that actually equaled, and kind of why I wanted to save it for my compost bin. Alright, so this is as much as I've gotten done. And yeah, some of this denser grass is just really, it's almost woody. Some of this stuff too, I don't know if it's the same grass or what, but they're just so close together. But you can see that a lot of this grass is, and a lot of this I've actually pulled up from when I did the sign. And this is where I haven't cut. So all this stuff has been pretty well protected. I don't know if you can see, but the soil is damp. It hasn't rained in days, so it's worked really well as far as trying to protect the soil from, basically the sun from drying it out. And it's enabled a lot of these maple trees to pop up. There's 3 there, another one, a couple more. Yeah, they're just all over the place. So, and then I'll show you how much grass. Oop, a little fast. Sorry for spinning the camera that fast. Yeah, this is just from whatever 20 minutes of work. That's how much I got. It's pretty substantial. So I'll do more probably tomorrow. I don't know, I'm kind of limited on my back and what I can do, but I'd like to get some more out. I might actually just start laying cardboard and put some mulch down. At least start that. If I could get to about here, I think that'd be pretty good. Yeah, maybe I'll just finish this up, just do another pass or two right here. But yeah, I'll have a smoke and think about it. Alright, and this is it. It's a pretty big area. This will still go where it was. I have a large square one. Go right around there. I'll put one on the side here. I'll probably make one for this corner. Maybe just use like a large pot and put something in it, something like that. So this will be the barrier, but walk into the area right here where the stone is. And it's supposed to be kind of a keyhole. And it's all dependent on the beds that I put in here. But yeah, most of it'll be cardboard and then mulch. And it'll be cardboard mulch right to the edge. Just a couple inches. That Creepin' Charlie just loves the edge, wood chips, it seems like. Everywhere I put a wood chip, there's Creepin' Charlie, so. Put the cardboard, and then just overlap it with wood chips all the way around, except for where there's a raised bed. So the center part, I might just start putting cardboard down. And if you can see the amount of grass that I pulled up. So it'll rain, and that'll drop about half its size. In a couple days it'll be a third of that, but it's a lot of good nitrogen for my compost, because most of what I have is I've had some manure, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds from like the local coffee shop, and wood chips is mostly what I've been using. So anything that's smaller than wood chips and easier to break up. Just an interesting note, I started this whole thing last year and a half ago, in the fall of 19. I moved in and cut all this grass, about a half acre of grass, and I was looking at it, I was like, well, I really don't want to mow this anymore. I'd go out there just to mow it, and then I look at it, and then 6 days later I'm out there mowing it again. But today, I just found, just a different way to cut the grass, is basically what I did. So I still spend a lot of time mowing around my house, and then there's a plot next to mine that I mow, so I still mow quite a bit, but at least in the bulk of my yard, there's other things growing other than just grass. There's trees and pine trees, and a few berry bushes, things like that. We'll just keep adding to it. But yeah, I just want to point that out, that instead of mowing it or using a weed eater, which would have been easier, I used a technology from how many hundreds of years ago. So alright, this is what I've got so far. This planter, whatever, was a lot harder to pound down into the ground than I thought. And it's not exactly level or straight or square, but it's perfectly fine with me. I did get some newspaper down below, not especially thick or anything. Just something to mat out those weeds, and that'll break down pretty quick once I put soil and all that on it. And then of course my wheelbarrow's on the other side of town, so at least I got enough down here, and this will be the main walking area. And I really need to get these two other raised beds. Need to get them over here to kind of size them up. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. There's this one right here, and then this. So you can kind of see this one's a lot more narrow, but 4 foot long, 4 foot by 3 foot, something like that. And then this one's probably 6 by 4. You can kind of see how big that is. I'm not going to move all that stuff today. I got somewhere else to be, but I'm going to at least get this part done. Get this uploaded today, and then tomorrow morning I'll be at it again. I'll get these boxes over here, get my wheelbarrow over here, and I have wood chips on my other property that I might actually fill up the bed of my truck, because I'm running out. It's taken me a year and 150 foot of walkways be able to finally get rid of that. But that pile cost me $480, and it was this whole area that's mulched. Kind of see the currant bush, the lime green leaves that are coming up. So from that edge, just a semicircle, whatever, a circle where they dumped all of it. And then I got some logs over here if I ever want to try to do a full like hugelkultur mound. But yeah, a lot of this stuff like the wood chip, stuff like that will be filler for the deeper raised beds like the one I just showed you. And of course I use it in my compost. And then that's my berry row. We'll go over that in another video, but I got a whole bunch of blueberry bushes and currant and cranberry, and got a couple of strawberry bushes coming up here that I've been picking the flowers off of. And those were just put in this spring. That currant bush was put in last fall, and then there's some more raspberries and stuff like that. Blueberries seem to be doing all right, but time will tell. Biggest thing is these, I put 4 of these black cherry bushes, and they're doing really well. Been a couple, 3 weeks, I suppose, since I put those in. And 3 out of 4 seem to be doing really well. The other one's struggling, but we'll see. This thing will get massive, 10, 15 foot tall, really. So I'll fill up this whole corner. I have another one over here, right here, on the other side of the walkway there. And there's one right here that's struggling. Today it's looking a lot better. Less than the other one that I showed you, of course, but it's got a lot of blockage. That's another thing I'm going to do with that saw is I'll go around some of these other things and just take out some of the competition it has for sunlight. But first, finish up this planter area for my annuals and get something in the ground. And I will see you tomorrow.